You seem bothered by something.
How did we get here?
A CDMP TV and film presentation from Crazy D, the mind who brings you the Black Ice Chronicles, the Females DVD, and Situations DVD, brings you The Shifter. It's Halloween night at Crazy D's, and a pesky vamp is out for blood. Beware of the Shifter.
That's it. You gotta go beat it damn scram, man. Damn.
Why don't you be a doll and find me a place to change? I need a place to change my clothes before I go.
What? Don't try to hold me on the phone.
D, you been holding out on me?
I was just about to stop and help. You know I help the crackheads, D.
Some people just don't have originality with their outfits.
It's like I hear voices in my head talking to me and shit.
I saw that punk ass Charles Pippin and his cousin leaving here.
I learned the grace pose.
Get your camera ready.
We're here, like we said, for trick or treat. Crazy, what did you see? You seem bothered by something.
You see that shit?
That crazy stuck in there.
Oh, what? Right. She can't stand that shit.
Who's the pit bitch?
Like, I
what
don't
the fuck was she need all hoes? I told her to scratch that, poke that bitch out.
Beware of the Shifter. Be at the premiere if you dare.
Are you gonna listen to the move?
I've been out the loop since 09. Yeah, I'll be back to get at that, though.
Check this. I'm at the motherfucking house last night. Guess what the fuck I see?
What you see?
Jamaica, what's up?
Fuck you think you fucking with? It's Maxwell, bitch!
Fuck you in them shoes.
Bitch, I'm about to stalk you with these shoes.
I thought I told you to get a jump to Crazy D.
I did give it to Crazy D. You know, D, you must have seen money in that. You know, he used to produce those nudie DVDs.
Fuck you, thin man. I know you did it.
Don't let your mouth write a check, cause I will take it out on your ass. Damn, man. You serious?
I don't appreciate being roughed up by men. Or should I say, male bitches.
Yeah, you gonna work out.
And we look for young ladies like you to host them.
I look like somebody that can host your videos.
That's right. So go change, cause we ain't got all day.
Get off the house.
Really good, though. I'm doing that bullshit.
Crazy. What the hell? How you in my room?
Film Review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society podcast, interviews, movie reviews, and more. Live Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on the Film Review Live channel. Subscribe.
Hi.
Hi, this is Bernadette Stannis, Thelma from Good Times, and you're watching the Film Review.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another great episode of hashtag TFR Podcast Live. Hashtag TFR Podcast Live. We want to shout out to everyone that is listening to us on and watching us on Periscope, Vimeo, FB, and the Film Review Live channel. Make sure you go to the Film Review Live channel and subscribe to the channel. Set you up a channel for you just to be a viewer. Then subscribe to the Film Review Live channel. Ring the bell so that you will be notified. Click the bell so that you will be notified when we come on. And then share, like this episode already, because we have a jam-packed show and we're getting ready to bring some information, some reviews that saves you revenue, pocket revenue, right? So first of all, before we get started, you know, it's hot under the lights.
Oh my gosh, extremely hot.
It's extremely hot under the lights, right? So before we get started, we have to always start with, how was your week? Blurbs of the week. The American black politic, right? So, how was your week?
This week flew by fast. I had a pretty good week. You know, I went out and voted, so, you know, got that out the way. And had to get a new phone because the other phone just completely stopped working.
That's right. That's right.
That's about it. I mean, this was hot this week. Well, I guess it depends on what part of the country.
Yeah, what part of the country you were in. Yeah.
But,
that's true. Yes, indeed. So, yes, people, we are ready to have a great show with you today, right? All right. So let's get started on this, right? Let's bring this up. All right. First of all, people, we are moving. That's right. We are moving. We are not moving to a new time slot. No. We are moving. Do you have a Periscope? So do we at TFR Podcast Live. Make sure that you get a subscription to Periscope and then follow us on Periscope. Do you have a Vimeo account? Vimeo account. We do. The Film Review. That's right. Make sure you go there, get you a Film Review, a Vimeo account so that you can just watch and then subscribe to different videos and watch. And make sure you subscribe to the Film Review on Vimeo. Do you have a YouTube? Of course we do. The Film Review Live channel on YouTube. That's right, on YouTube. Do you have a SoundCloud? Well, of course we do. The Film Review Podcast on SoundCloud. Make sure you get a SoundCloud just to be able to listen and subscribe to us on SoundCloud, right? Listen. Facebook took down the Film Review, Movies, Music, Culture, Politics, Society follow page, like page, right? They took it down, leaving nothing but the group page. But the group page is ineffective without the page. Talking about fraudulent. Now,
but are you surprised?
No. What is fraudulent?
Okay.
What is fraudulent about giving opinion? When you give your opinion, it'd be different if we were. See, the wrong words were used. That's why we got the bounce, right? Because you're saying fraudulent, but fraudulent would mean that if we were advertising something to try to get money for something, that's fraud.
Right.
Right?
It's more so, to me, even though they use the term fraudulent, it falls under the censorship because, you know, they don't want you to bring facts, right? They don't want you to break down American history, right?
Right.
So they want to manipulate viewers, right? And then, of course, you know, there's a post, you know, that I had up where there are a lot of different, you know, black people who, well, podcasters and everything, different people who had issues with Facebook, but not only that, actual Facebook employees who are black who face discrimination. American blacks.
That's right.
Right.
American black politics. See, listen here. Right. This whole thing with the politics. How can you block or take down opinions of a people who didn't have a dog in the hunt? How can you take down and say that opinions that somebody said is fraudulent because you don't agree with them? See, this is turning. See, Facebook is a country or a world of its own, and it's starting to turn totalitarian and authoritarian, right? And why is it going that way, right? Why is it going that way, right? That's why Facebook is going that way. It's sad to have people. This is to Zuckerberg in particular. It is bad to have people working for you who come from other lands that don't necessarily practice freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is more than just, I don't like your opinion, so I'm going to block you. It's freedom of speech. You listen to what people have to say. So taking away people's hope, this is like years of creating and building something, and then they turn right around and then they take it down.
Well, they just reported a couple of weeks ago that Facebook had lost tons of subscribers.
And they're going to be losing more subscribers. 213-943-3358. Do you have a Blog Talk account? We do. Crazy D Radio. Make sure you go there, get you a Blog Talk account so that you can just subscribe to various different accounts and then subscribe to Crazy D Radio on Blog Talk, right? Listen.
It's more like a God complex I think he has now.
I don't know if it's a God complex, right? But he's going to lose because they don't understand what freedom of speech really is. Right. It'd be different if we were up here just talking heads and acting ignorant but didn't have any facts. But that's what he
wants, though. He wants you to be...
But it'd be different if we weren't bringing facts right behind what we're saying. If you don't like what a person says as a person that is offering a social media service... You're offering a service to a group of people. Right. If you don't like what they say, you can't arbitrarily come in and change rules and then go back months and then start knocking people off. The DJs are leaving and regular American blacks are leaving. They are getting flagged for words from years back, right? Once they use the blacks, though, that's the entertainment. And you know we're the entertainment that they sell ads on. Okay. So once they lose us, I mean, they can have other people coming in, but it won't be the same. And people are going to follow where we go.
Well, the thing about that, from what I am seeing, other groups, we've seen it on the news, white people are fed up, too. You know, there's freedom of speech being taken away, right? So this just hits all across the board. And what was it, Zuckerberg and the Twitter guy with Senator Cruz.
Right, Senator Cruz handed a new one to him.
So I mean, so it's just like there's like the whole Biden, what's his son's name, Bo?
Bo,
Or
yeah.
is it the other, you know?
Yeah, it's
So-
not Bo, it's Hunter.
Hunter, right? The whole Hunter Biden story.
Yeah, but
that they
that's
tried
like-
to hide. No, what I'm saying is they're censoring in politics. They're censoring in like just the everyday person. They're based on views. On the everyday person's views, they may not agree with it. So instead of just letting a person have their own opinion, they're censoring them. And when you have, like I said, it's up now. Tons of black people, former, and some may still be there, I doubt it, but tons of black people who worked at Facebook, and they talked about the discrimination at Facebook. So these are the people who are in the inside, and they saw how black people were being treated, and how they were being treated. So Facebook is a racist, prejudiced platform.
Racist, prejudice.
I mean, because look at all of the different white militia groups and the different white supremacist groups that they had on Facebook and still have on Facebook, I'm sure. But then they were quick to take down the minister.
What's going on with Tanya M. Congress? She says,
Hey, Tanya.
It's all about Biden. Don't forget that Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern,
Right.
it is hashtag observations TFR by Crazy D with
Right.
my guest host, Tanya M. Congress. Listen. They took down Minister when they took down the hate groups.
Well, some
Minister
hate groups are still up.
Minister Farrakhan is not a hate group.
Right.
He doesn't purport or has never
At all.
talked violence.
At all.
If you would, Miss Congress, if you would distribute this out, because they also blocked me from distributing out the show to other pages that are that receive it and enjoy us being on their pages, because I'm a member of those pages. So anyway, look, it's more than one way to skin a cat, right? But we are moving. That's right. We are moving, because this is crazy, it's insane,
Right.
and you can mark my words, this is the end of Facebook being as potent as it was, because the DJs are leaving, everyday average people are leaving. They're moving over to other platforms. We've given you platforms to look at, to come on, because we're going to be there, right?
And then you also have the Flex app platform.
Yeah, but that's not.
So, but there are many platforms.
Okay, right. I'm not going
Right.
to promote anything that ain't on Apple, on the Apple computer, and not on the PC. If it's just on your phone, it's not ready. It's not ready. It's got to be able to be on computer to be able to fight against Facebook. It's got to be on all those platforms. So until he gets that ready, he's got to get that tight and get it ready. Then we will be there. But until then, that is not ready. It's not ready to even talk about, right? So look, as we move on from that, because we're not going to spend any more time on the Facebook foolishness, but we wanted to let you know, that's right, this crap is ridiculous, right? Tanya M. Congress. But we just wanted to let you know that this is going on and that we will be moving, because there's more platforms out there, and as they lose, as they hire so-called minorities but don't hire American blacks into those jobs that will understand the nuance of discussions, you know, it's weird. It's weird. I'm going to say one more thing about this. Back when they were pro-Trump, anything that you said negative about Trump, they were dinging you. Now they're not pro-Trump anymore, and now they're dinging you and saying that they're leaning left by what they did at the hearings earlier this week. So it's just really ridiculous. No matter what you do, if you're American black, it appears
they don't like. And people have to get ready.
Well, you know, that it kind of sounds kind of plantation.
That's right.
Type.
So for those who want to stay on the plantation, feel free to stay on the plantation. You know, sometimes people be thinking that they're doing something and they're really getting off the plantation when they're really not, right? We need our own platforms now, but while we're here, we're telling you that we're moving over to other platforms. Then once the American Black platforms come up, we'll be able to go there. Maybe Black Planet can come back and not be a dating site and go back to the platform that he had where you can load up videos and things and everybody can switch over there because they're coming for you. Something you said that they don't like, that they don't understand because culturally they are deficient. The ones that are doing the IT and the work over there with the bots, they are coming for you. All right, so we gave you the warning. We're telling you, okay, people. We want to say condolences. We've lost some people this week.
Yeah.
We want to say condolences to Rance Allen.
Right.
Something about the name Jesus.
Yeah.
It is the sweetest name I ever known. That's right. You know, that song was really, 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 really popular at the time when my wife's mother passed. And we had our my longtime next door neighbor as a child come up, Edwin Moore. He sung that song and he tore it down. And Rance Allen,
it's a beautiful song,
will be missed.
Yeah, condolences to his family, his friends, but he left us, you know, a gift, his music, right?
His music,
which
that's
will
right.
live on forever.
Live on forever. And also, we lost Sean Connery, 007. We lost him, and so we want to say condolences to his family and everyone. And
the one and only 007.
Yeah, really.
The real
007.
The most liked one, 007.
Right. So people look. You know, the people are leaving. It's crazy. The people that you watched, right, are leaving, and it's so crazy. So let's look at some of the Halloween outfits that people dressed up as. This is Janelle Monáe.
Oh, that's
right?
cute. Is that Chucky?
She dressed up as Chucky.
Child's Play.
What do you think about that?
That's cute.
Okay.
That was creative. She has the Chucky doll.
Yeah, with the Chucky hat. I didn't know he wore a hat, but it's cool. All right. So here's one that I thought was pretty creative, right? Right here. What do you think about this?
Is that from X-Men?
Yeah, that's X-Men, right? What do you
the
think
blue
about that?
lady. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't even know the blue
Who is
lady's
that?
name.
Is that a celebrity?
Yeah, that's a celebrity. I'm thinking
is it Jada
that's
Pinkett Smith? Or no? From a distance.
No, I thought that because that looks like Offset.
Oh, is that Cardi B? I thought Cardi B was somebody else.
Okay, but whoever it is, they're in the car together.
That
they
might
are
be her because you know sometimes they do.
They show all the
costumes,
different
multiple
pictures over
costumes,
time.
yeah.
I mean, it really didn't matter who the entertainer was. That really, it didn't matter if it was Cardi B or not. So I didn't care about that. I just thought the outfit was good. Okay, now here's a shifter. I think
shifter. For Halloween?
No. Who is she supposed to be? You know who that is?
No, I don't.
That's right. You couldn't tell that was Tracy Ellis Ross.
Is this her Halloween?
Yes, and she's Compton. Who was Compton? She looks just like the guy. Got the little mustache and everything. She looks like DJ Quick.
Oh, is that who she's supposed to be?
She's got the long hair. You know, because she would have had a Jerry curl if it was Quick. She looks just like Quick. She's embodying Quick.
Is she?
DJ Quick comes from Compton.
Okay.
Compton, right? Anyway, I thought that was pretty good. I thought that I was
Okay.
looking at a succubus for a minute, because she sure can embody different roles. I guess you would have to see the picture
Up close.
Because when I saw it, I said, she looks just like Quick.
Because I didn't know that was her.
She caught the Quick look and everything. That's how Quick stance is. I thought that was pretty good. So here's two people dressing up like the people who were standing outside telling Black Lives Matter to move on with their guns, funny. Right? I thought Eazy-E was blue. I didn't know he was red. I mean, just an observation. We can look that up real quick. But I thought Eazy was blue, not red. But anyway.
Oh, is that what she was wearing?
She's wearing red.
Oh, and Quick.
Which means Quick
know
is... But anyway. This one is real nice. I don't know if this was a celebrity or not sure, but I think it was. But sometimes people put things down and they don't label who they are, but you know that they're some kind of they're a celebrity or whatever. But anyway, I thought this was pretty good right here. She embodies a vampire bride. Unfortunately, the bride was bit at the time that she was going to get married. Isn't that something?
So there's a bite on her neck?
And no, a vampire changes people. Okay. Usually vampires are men.
So she has vampire teeth in her mouth?
Yes. Okay. Count Dracula.
Okay.
Blackula.
Okay.
And at the time she has a headdress on. Okay. It looks like she was at a wedding at the time.
Vampire bride.
And she appears that she must have been bit at the time that she was a bride. Unfortunate for her, as the story would be told.
Well, she's smiling in her pictures.
Well, she's smiling because she's getting ready to bite somebody else's neck. True blood. Now, this is one. I don't know. Somebody just put this up and said Happy Halloween. I don't know if Beyonce did this, but I think this is recent, right? So they put it up and they said Happy Halloween. This is Beyonce, right? And she's saying Happy Halloween. What do you think about that?
I can't tell if this is someone dressing up as Beyonce.
No, that's Beyonce's face. That's her. That's her. I don't know. What's up, man? Anyway, that's how it was. Okay, now here's one. Now I need to know this. Is this Little Kim's Halloween outfit?
See, now that's not nice.
No, I'm just asking. I'm just really asking. No,
I think someone's just being funny.
No, it said love yourself. It says love yourself.
It doesn't look like she's wearing a costume.
It says love yourself, y'all. So so this is before and this is after the transformation. So what do you think about that right there? I mean, this was posted on Halloween. It said love yourself, y'all.
I think someone's just being funny. The before and after.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Before and after.
So the second picture is
Little Kim.
Yeah, and she's not wearing a costume, right?
It's not. Let's get a little closer. I need to examine this a little closer here. Let's bring it a little closer here. All right.
And it looks like she's wearing like a little, is that a crown? So maybe she's the queen for Halloween.
Okay. Because I'm looking at this and what you don't see. Anyway, we won't get into that because it's
maybe she's a queen for Halloween.
A queen for Halloween. Queen Elizabeth.
Could be.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah. So, as we go across. So, people. Getting started with our first review of the night. Okay. It is after Halloween, right? It is after Halloween. And so there is Halloween residual because this is now considered the dead season. For those who did not know why Halloween came about in the first place, it came about because it was a celebration of the change of seasons, of the equinox, right? Where things die, right? And so,
you know what? Speaking of what earlier this week, right? Yesterday, you know what we left out? We saw the blue moon. So you can go back to the Halloween story. We saw the blue moon.
Yeah, blue
yesterday.
moon, big full moon. Yeah, it's
It
not
was
really
huge.
blue, but it's
Wasn't
big.
blue, but
right.
it was big.
Blue moon. But anyway, look. So this is the dead season, right? Because everything, the leaves fall off the trees, everything goes into hibernation, and the trees are, can be scary at night, right? So there's residuals, right? So we decided, because this is the dead season and we need to tell people to protect your children. We always want to tell you that. Protect your children during this season, because this is a heightened season for some reason. For one thing, a lot of people are conceived during the winter who are born in the spring. That's one thing. People are born all the time, but if you look up percentages, you can see it's a lot of more spring, because there's something about this time that gets people super sexually heightened, active, hyperactive, right? So we decided we would bring you a review on one of the actual murderers, actual serial killers, right? The 93 victims of Samuel Little, right? Now this is already debuted and it is up on the ID channel, ID Investigation channel. It is called The 93 Victims of Samuel Little, right? Now, Samuel Little killed 93 victims, right? So it's an episodic series again on ID channel, right? Hashtag 6 Nights of Serial Killers is what it is, the tag. If you go and put the tag in, it'll bring up all the serial killers. This particular one, Samuel Little, had 2 nights. So it's a 2-part series on him, right? 2 episodes on him within this series of 6 Nights of Serial Killers, right? So this guy, well, let's break the synopsis down real quick. An FBI agent, crime analyst, putting the pieces together to solve murders, killings conducted by a possible serial killer, spans multiple states, counties, municipalities around the United States of America, and her investigation uncovers years of murders conducted by one man who has 93 victims. Samuel Little killed people within 19 different states in the United States of America between 1970 and 2005. 1970 to 2005 when he was finally arrested, right? Now, he killed women, right? And what was
all women.
And what was unique about these women were they were what you would call the indigent. They were the ones who were in the society that most societal people call throwaways. People who would not be missed if they were ever missed, right? So this is what he did. And of course, I came with a edit to give more detail about him, because this is the first show, November 1st, episode 137 of hashtag TFR Podcast Live. And we are now in what is called the dead season, right? Before the spring equinox comes back in March, right? So we are in this dead season now, and you have to guard your children. You have to guard your female children. You have to guard your female aunts, your moms, everybody. You have to be very diligent, because this is this time of year where this goes down, right? So let me bring that up. bring that up. Now, let's look at this real quick, because what makes his story so unique, I think that you should smash the share button and the like button on this, and tag your people on this, because this is very important. This guy was born in Ohio.
Lorain, Ohio.
Lorain, Ohio. But you know, when they're talking about Ohio, when they talk about all those different places, Moon over Parma and Lorain and all that, you know what? Lorain. You know, that was a Nat King Cole song, and on WUAB every morning they would play that, you know, song by Nat King Cole, because WUAB 43 was coming from out of Lorain. So when you mention all these places, they always show you Cleveland, because Cleveland is the main city, and these are urban sprawl. Like when the people ran out of the city, when they tried to say go back to Africa ends, but that didn't work. They urban sprawl, and they made all these various communities that they drive in an hour and 45 minutes into work, hour and 45 minutes out of work, hour and 45 minutes into sporting events and the flats and the 4th Street, and then you pull back out, right? Hour and 45 minutes, right? They show Cleveland, Ohio, right? And so this is not one that we would like to claim, though it can get pretty deep in Cleveland, Ohio. Like if you don't know what's going on, it can get pretty deep, pretty deviant. So listen, we're getting ready to play this. If you're squeamish in the stomach, viewer discretion is advised on this. But we edited it up, so that yours truly, so we would give you context. And of course, we're going to break in and talk. But this is the dead season, and you have to guard and keep your children, your females in your world, in your life safe.
And I say little boys too, because people that send their little boys to the store, and
that goes to saying protect your children, period. But we're talking about this guy was going after people who were the
homeless, prostitutes.
The same as the dude on 93rd. That's true. Very much so.
He also picked up hitchhikers too.
Wasn't that Imperial?
Yeah, the Imperial.
That was the Cleveland Strangler. Right?
Sure was.
And he was barbecuing and inviting people over.
Neighborhood cookouts.
They said his barbecue was good too.
Feeding people, human beings.
Alleged. They never really quite said that. It's allegedly.
The news reported it. It was in the articles.
So watch this. Watch this, people. Viewer discretion is advised. Here we go.
Are these haunting paintings the work of a man who may be America's most prolific serial killer? 79-year-old drifter Samuel Little is a talented artist and a self-confessed killer. Earlier this year, the FBI released 27 portraits of women he says he murdered. Now Little is claiming he's murdered 93 women in all. 60 Minutes reporter Sharon Alfonsi was shocked when all the portraits were lined up in one room.
These are all of his drawings.
These are all his. Tell me about Mary Ann.
Pause that for a minute. What makes his killings unique is he has a memory, a photographic memory, and he drew all of the women that he killed.
Really good artist.
That Lorain or Cleveland education, because there was a great arts department. I came through great arts department. But anyway, he is able to draw the victim verbatim, and they exact likenesses, and they have matched up photos to his drawings. Let's continue. This guy right here. Now, so listen to the way he talks about what he did. This guy, in our opinion, is a psychopath and sociopath. Okay, he just listen.
She's what you nowadays they call a transgender.
She's a black male dressed up as a female. Okay. How tall is she?
Marianne's about 5'7", 5'6". She weighed about 135, maybe 140.
In an interview airing this Sunday on 60 Minutes, Texas Ranger James Holland talks about his interactions with Samuel Little.
There's indications of visualization of when he's thinking about a crime scene, he'll start stroking his face.
Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters has now laid out the case against serial killer Samuel Little. As we were first to report yesterday, Little is indicted for 2 different murders here in Cincinnati.
9 on Your Side anchor Tanya O'Rourke has been following this story closely. She was at the news conference today. And Tanya, did you hear anything new?
We absolutely did. Not only did Dieters speak, but I asked the 2 people who took Little's statement from his prison in Los Angeles to take the podium and explain what it was like to be in the room with the man who has admitted to killing 93 women. They talked about the fact that Little strangled his victims and why, and what you're about to hear is chilling.
And tell me about where you met her at.
I seen her down at the Guar on 17th Avenue, and she had on a short cream miniskirt, cream and red. So then this opportunity popped up. Take her to the store.
Right.
Instead of me bringing her back to the apartment, I went down 27th Street. That's going down to Fort Lauderdale, called the Alligator Alley. It turns into, it runs in the Alligator Alley.
Right.
But the further out you get, the further you get out of Miami.
Right.
And you got vegetation in there.
Now, how far outside of Miami do you think you were?
About, it wasn't too far to Miami, right there. I was in my stepdad's car, Pontiac Le Mans.
Now, where'd you take her to?
Continue down 27. Got back on 27.
Going outside of Miami. Okay.
Miami.
Going away from Miami.
Going away from Miami. We got down past the let's say limits. So I continued on toward Fort Lauderdale, and I seen a road going off the main road back into the station on the left side. So I got her out of the car, pulled her out, and drug her into the growth back there, and pulled her deeper into there's a path. A little path was running somewhere. I don't know where it led it to, but it was running deeper into the undergrowth. It's like Everglades like that. And we ran into some water running. But before we got to the water, the earth was mushy. I turned her loose, and she fell into it face down.
And how far outside of Miami do you think you were?
About a mile, 2 miles.
What year did Mary Ann occur?
72.
I was
1972.
Wow.
Right? 1972, I was 1. 1972, you... Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't born
I
yet.
was 1.
I wasn't born.
Right?
I mean, but look, this man, he wasn't just, I mean, because when you hear about serial killers, most are kind of regional, and this man drove cross country. He killed women all over the United States.
All over the United States. Guard your children. Guard your children. There is all... We just finished talking about demons on possibilities and probabilities on hashtag observations TFR that comes on Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. We did a whole series of 1 through 5 of possibilities and probabilities. And we talked about demons.
Yeah, this man is one.
He is probably controlled by a demon. He probably has been afflicted by a demon that told him to do this, and he has done demonic things.
Because they said he's been acting out from the age of 13.
Right, and so that means that something happened. Somebody inserted a demon into him somehow. How do you suppose? I mean, but that's just speculation and conjecture. But you know, abusers abuse. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
And this guy smashed the share button, smash the like button, tag your people in this. Let people know that we are here. Make sure that you subscribe to the Film Review Live channel on YouTube. Go to Periscope. Subscribe to us there. Go to Vimeo. Right? All the different places that we are. Because we are moving, did we tell you? But anyway,
Blog Talk, YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah.
So look, let's go on with this. Now this is the FBI agent, crime analyst, and at first she said she didn't buy it at first, but then old boy started drawing his victims, and then she said, "Oh man."
Wasn't completely buying it at first.
Inside Edition spoke to FBI crime analyst Christy Palazzolo, who says when Little confessed to the killings, she had her doubts. But then he started sketching the victims from memory, down to the color of their lipstick and hairstyle, and she realized she really was dealing with a monster.
To him, strangulation was sex, and he said, how could you tell a man not to have intercourse with a woman? Well, that's like telling me not to strangle people. I mean, that's the way he looked at it. That's how bizarre this person is.
These two people sat in a room with this serial killer for hours. They say he comes across as normal until he doesn't.
He was friendly, conversational, very open to discussion with us, very helpful. And like Mark said, he described it as telling a normal man that normal sexual intercourse was a crime. And when he got the urge, that's when he would seek out a woman and commit his crimes.
The 79-year-old is believed to have murdered 93 people in 19 states from 1970 to 2005. That's more than triple the number of people Ted Bundy confessed to killing. In an interview with 60 Minutes correspondent Sharon Alfonsi, Holland shared his impression of the serial killer.
The first thing I picked up on is how wicked smart he was. This guy
Smart.
is, like genius.
Why?
Yes,
Why do you say that?
Oh, well, number one, you know, the photographic memory, his memory for details.
Holland put that memory to use and gave Little, who likes to sketch, art supplies. Little drew around 50 of his victims. In a recent phone interview with 60 Minutes, he reflected on his crimes.
I don't think there was another person that did what I'd like to do. I'm thinking the only one in the world. And that's not an honor. That is a curse.
So he says it's not honor, it is a curse, right?
Because he couldn't control himself. Right?
He couldn't control himself. So you see, this is demonic possession, right? It's not like what you see in the movies. You have to guard your loved ones. You have to guard your children. You have to guard your children. You have to guard your children. You have to guard the females in your life. There are some sick puppies, and this is the dead season.
And he looked like just the average, everyday guy.
He traded off on his looks.
Yep.
Matter of fact, he looks like a certain family member, right? He looks like a family member, right? He's not. But he looks like a certain family member, and he traded off on his looks. That's how he got him to go his way in the first place. This is some sickness. You know, speaking of the strangulation, though.
About that strangulation, Samuel Little apparently had a methodical way of picking his victims.
And he specifically looked for girls with a certain neck type that he liked. And that's why he did it. That's how twisted this guy is.
Samuel Little draws his victims. 2 are from Cincinnati. One, whose body was dumped just south of Columbus, is now identified as Anna Stewart. The other's identity remains a mystery.
Right now, we just don't know who it is.
Little told investigators she wore a wig and had very dark skin. This picture shows what she might look like with darkened skin and no wig. And prosecutors say Little chose women who were at risk.
He looked for women that would not be missed.
Right.
He looked for street people, prostitutes, figuring that it's not a a young mom with kids. It's not somebody that's leaving work. It's somebody that's walking the streets because he figured he could do it, he could dump them, and no one would miss him for days. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and he was very good at it.
They're very grandiose.
Retired FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole says serial killers like Little often enjoy the attention that comes with confessing.
They're not sorry for what they've done. They're very proud of being able to, number one, get away with it, and number two, to talk about how very good they were at being a serial killer.
Over the course of 700 hours of interviews while in prison for murdering 3 women, Little confessed to Texas Ranger James Holland that he'd killed many more.
What city did you kill the most in?
Miami and Los Angeles.
And how many did you kill in Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, approximately 20.
But for Holland, it won't be over until all of Little's victims are identified.
It's kind of like never ending. You have to continue. You have to finish it.
Just last week, Holland received 3 new sketches. He continues to encourage Little to draw. Because Little is in poor health, Holland says the race is on to identify all of the serial killer's alleged victims while he's still alive.
Well, if you have any information about the unknown victim, call the prosecutor's office. As we reported first yesterday, Anna Stewart's sons have been told that it was Little who killed her mom. Dieter says Little is expected to plead guilty to the murders in August. That plea will be taken via Skype because Little's health is making it hard for him to travel.
All right, so look. You just have to sit and ingest that for a second, right? You have to sit there and ingest that. 93 women dead, right? The 93 victims of Samuel Little. Now, this is from news reports that I clipped together. Okay. This is not the documentary, right? You might think because it's smooth that it is, but no, it's not. So the documentary is on ID Investigation Channel. All you do is just put hashtag 6 nights of serial killers. He has 2 nights himself, right? Guard your loved ones. Guard them. Know where they are because there are some sick pups out here. There's some sick pups out here. So let's go down to the breakdown. Now, the cinematography is going to be a little different because you have to add in the cinematography, the sound, and using clips and connecting sounds from different time periods, news reports and everything with different time periods. That is a 10, right? Reenactments, because they have reenactments, right? That's a 10. Storyline through line, building the story. The first episode of this, the 93 victims of Samuel Little, they build it methodically. They show you some murders that were unsolved, but then a DNA hit kicks it off. So that's what we're going to say about that. So the storyline through line is a 10. Character arc, building who Samuel Little is to the way that he is now as now a 74, 75-year-old man. Building his character arc is a 10, right? Capturing the era that all of this was taking place between the 1970s and the early 2000s, that's a 10. The locations within the reenactment, the locations they show you where the murders took place, that's a 10. Story beats, how they connected the different killings, murders, and then connected them to later in his life. Story beats, that's 10. And his life in the past, that's a 10. Believability, believing that he actually was the actual serial killer, was established early on. Historical facts about it coming from his mind of what the different places looked like where he took his victims, right? That's a 10. So what would you rate 93
I mean, I
victims?
agree with everything you said. I would give it a 10 because The documentary was well done. We learned about him, the individual. We learned about how he grew up. We learned about why he did what he did by learning about his background. We don't want to give anything away because we want you to watch it, but while he was traveling, he was not traveling alone while he was doing this. So you'll learn who he was traveling with, while he was on his journey.
His escapade.
Right, of murdering women across the country.
On his
And to see him, you see him as, oh, look at this sweet little elderly man. Oh, please, little do you know what this man
is capable of.
Yeah.
And
so
probably would still be capable of it if he hadn't been caught that fateful day.
And just think, he would, because he looked so sweet, like a sweet little old man, he probably would be murdering more and more women because people would feel like, oh, he's a sweet little old man. And
yeah, he's going to be like this. Can you help me to my car?
And it would be much easier for him to snatch up people.
And he would still be strong and he would get that hand around
Exactly.
Right?
So, I mean, this was a really interesting documentary.
You have to sit down with your children and have them watch things like this so they will know what is going on, right? They have to know what is going on at all times. You have to let your loved ones watch this because people go out and they don't know what's going on. So for me, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you have to let them know not to judge a book by its cover because, as they stated in the documentary, they showed pictures of him as a young man when he began murdering women, right? He had the latest clothes. He had the latest hairstyle. He looked like a model, right? And so these women felt comfortable going along with him. And you have to let them know. You just don't know. A murderer doesn't look like a murderer. You can't. You have to let your children know not to trust anybody other than you. Because you can't peg a killer just by looking at him.
That's right. So the 93 victims of Samuel Little, we give it a 10 here at TFR Podcast Live, hashtag TFR Podcast Live. The next movie, like I said, this is residuals. This is the dead season now until the spring equinox comes, right? So a lot of films came out on the 30th. Right? Yeah. Leading into Halloween, right?
Yep.
For people to watch. And we were there to watch. What'd you say?
No, you were right about this. Like this time of year, because I'm telling you, when I watch the news and when I read like the different articles, there have been like many, many murders going on recently, lately, going on right now. So you have to.
Investigations,
absolutely. Many people are being killed.
So please guard your camel.
Yes.
So let's move on to the next movie. It is called His House, right? On Netflix. And of course we have the trailer playing right underneath us there, right? So His House. Sophie Darusso. I hope I'm getting these. I'm bad with these African names, right? Sophie Darusso is boy.
It's a palace.
Wani Masaku is Ryo.
Where do we know her from?
We know her as playing the sister in Lovecraft Country. The sister that puts on the skin of the white people in Lovecraft Country. This is her. That's what we know her, right? Javar Botet. I hope I got that name. My writing. Javar Botet or Xavier Botet. No, it's Javar Botet. The witch. He plays the witch. There's a witch in this, right? Interesting. Matt Smith is Mark. There's an ensemble cast of black ghouls and goblins zombie undead, night walking, night terrors in this picture, right? So here's the synopsis of the picture. A refugee husband and wife must find a new life after fleeing war-torn South Sudan to live in a dwelling in a less than hospitable English town while fighting off demons bent on punishing them for their past actions, right? So that's the synopsis of it. So look, this has to be, coming from out of, representing the characters. This is one of the best horror films that we've seen, because sometimes when you watch Caucasian horror, sometimes it doesn't sync up, it doesn't make sense. It's just doing and going about doing something just because it's just doing it. There's African lore in it, African folklore. There is the explanation of demons, the explanation of, through flashbacks, it tells you the story. It is very concise in its delivery. Not one frame is wasted on making the film have a longer time of it showing, right? So in other words, everything was plotted out beautifully. Every story beat that's in the film beautifully placed. Every flashback sequence, every introduction of new demons and undead, beautifully told. Once you get in the house, there is no doldrum time. Once they're in the house, it kicks off and it keeps kicking off. And then there is a divide and conquer element put in the film that we're not going to tell you too much about, but you have to see it, right? It's a divide and conquer element in the film. What did you think about His House?
I thought the acting was great. And I'm telling you, I didn't know where the movie was going, because there were like twists and turns, and this isn't like the traditional horror film. And when I saw that Wendy Masuki, I apologize for butchering her name, but when I saw that she was one of the leads in the film, I said, okay, this is going to be a good film, because like you said, we've seen her acting in the Lovecraft Country. So seeing her play this character, which is a totally different character, right? Congratulations. I was really convinced. I was convinced that these two were a couple. I was convinced the horror and the pain and just everything that they were going through was convincing. It was just well done.
What do you think about the undercurrent? Because it was written by a white writer, right? And it's interesting. What do you think about the undercurrent that they had of there was a divide and conquer put in, and he was, as the male, he was in 360%, and the wife had to come around. What do you think about that?
I thought that was good. The husband was determined to keep his family together, no matter what, even going through dealing with what they were dealing with in this house, right? And first of all, they're on a foreign land, right? And so, it had to be horrifying. He's trying to keep his family together. He's living in a foreign land, basically a foreign language, and dealing with ghosts, goblins, and demons.
Right. But what do you think about the aspect of the woman having to make the decision?
Yeah, because I'm trying to say this without giving away. I think
she had to make a decision.
Yeah, she did. But you know what? she was torn because of the decision she had to make. And you'll see what this decision is, right? We don't learn until like midway of the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's a beautiful way of them telling the story.
It is.
Because they used to tell you in film school that the event that's happening has to be in real time, actually in present, and not in flashback. And I like the way that filmmakers are destroying that model altogether and going with something new.
I don't agree with. I don't understand what the turmoil was. Like, to some degree, I understand why she felt the way she did. But I'm glad that her husband fought to keep them together, and eventually she snapped in.
Yeah, she snapped in. She snapped in at a very crucial point.
Yeah, she did.
Right. So
yeah,
let's go through.
I think it was her guilt, really, that made her kind of.
Yeah. So watch the film because it's
mostly guilt.
It's a psychological, social commentary too on relationships, along with what's going on. So let's go through it. Cinematography is a 10.
Right.
Storyline, through line, everything, the pacing on this is just superb. It's a 10. Character arc is a 10. Acting skill and emoting is a 10. Wardrobe and sets is a 10. Locations, where the choice outside of the apartment where they showed you, right? The living dwelling, that's a 10. Story beats through the flashback, beautifully done, 10. Believability, everything in this film was believable. And you know, sometimes that's hard to do in some horror films, genre films, right?
Yeah.
Historical facts about there being a genocide in South Sudan, and the way that they put that, incorporated that research into the film, that's a 10. So what would you give His House?
I would give it a 10 because of the acting, the storyline. You felt, I don't know, you could relate while watching this film what it would feel like to be on a foreign land and to be caught in between. Like, these people were stuck. Like in other films, you're watching a film and you're like, why don't you just leave that house? Mm-hmm. But these people really didn't have any other options, so they didn't have an option.
There was an extreme dramatic need to why they couldn't leave the house, and you will see that, and that is truly a catch-22, in between a rock and a hard place, and you will see what that is. So for me, His House is 10. Okay, so let's move on to our next movie of the night. We talked about this a few weeks back when we first played the trailer for you, and we are looking forward. We were looking forward to this film, and it came out, and it did not, and I repeat, it did not disappoint. And what we're talking about is Spell, right?
We saw it the release day, on the release day.
That's right. We saw it on the 30th, right? Omari Hardwick is Marquise T. Woods. Loretta Devine is Elsie, right? Lorraine Burroughs is Vera Woods. John Beasley is Earl. John Beasley, you see him in a lot of films. He is an excellent American black character actor, right? John Beasley. Steve Malulu is Lewis, and Tamisha Marsha is the sheriff. Lot of besides Loretta Devine, and I'm not too sure what Omari Hardwick really is, but besides them, a lot of African actors taking space in this film.
He's from Savannah, Georgia.
So it's a good film. Okay, so let's go through this. It takes place in Kentucky, right?
Yep.
A man tormented A man tormented by memories of abuse he suffered at the hands of his father has to return home for his father's funeral. Along the way, he must find a way to save himself and his family from a mad roots woman's wrath. And that's what the film is about. This film is twisting and turning and twisting. Let me tell you something. This film, let me say it again. This film is twisting and turning and twisting and turning. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. The pacing on this film is excellent. There is no doldrums. There is no slowdown. The setup of what it is, the pacing on that is excellent. He's there. You're introduced to his family first to let you know the dynamic of the family of what could be lost. Then a notification is brought, and next thing you know, he's on the way, and he's on the way with his family. Now, what makes his character what makes his character Marquise interesting is he is self-contained, a self-determined American black man. He is self-determined. He flies his own airplane, his own Cessna, right? So that means he didn't need to be flown by a pilot. He is a pilot, right? And he's flying his family in to give the last respects and get condolences from people in the town, right? What's going on? Oh yeah, that's La Kayla. What's going on, La Kayla?
Hey, La Kayla.
How you feel? We saw the Halloween. Yeah, that was nice. What you did with the children to keep them safe. You know, guard your children. So listen, Spell. You have to see this film. He is a self-determined man put into a situation where his intellect, as well as his intellect, his ability to think, his ability to overcome is put to the test.
Completely to the test.
It also teaches you that all black people that are in America are not all the same. And they will look at you differently depending on where you come from. You are welcome, La Kayla. You are welcome. Great job last evening. So anyway, look.
Thank God, my family.
You will see in this film, you will be stunned by this film. You have to see this film. What do you think about the film?
I mean, the film was well done because you think that it's going to be, you know, going one type of way. You know, here's the family all together. They're traveling together. And then something horrible happens during their travel, right? And he wakes up in a totally different world. Right? And that's when I said, like, because you get to know him and his family, right? So you do see the character arc. Like, there's a major arc, right? And then so as you watch this film, you learn more and more about him. And then you gradually, as the layers are unraveling, you say, well, you know, that was always in him. He kind of, do you think he kind of pulled back?
Yeah, we don't want to give too much.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much away, but yeah. The strength was there.
This is Misery meets...
We're going up for my daddy's funeral.
It's Misery meets the Serpent and the Rainbow, in a way.
Yeah.
Misery meets Serpent and the Rainbow. This is better than Misery.
Way better than Misery. And Misery is a good film.
Misery is a good film, but Misery is slow. And they had to make it pace slow to show you the misery of what was going on. There is a scene in this, it don't make you cringe. Oh my gosh.
This film, I mean, he's going through misery and he's going through what?
Serpent in the Rainbow.
Serpent in the Rainbow. I mean, it was horrific what he went through. Horrific.
It's one of those films that after you watch that,
Right.
You wouldn't go to Misery. You would go to Serpent and the Rainbow, and you would go to Angel Heart.
Okay.
You would go to those films and watch those films in succession on a wanting to watch a horror night. You know what I mean?
It talks about, it showed his character because like you
Yes.
said in the beginning, you can tell that he was self-determined, right?
Mhm.
He taught himself how to fly. So he was the pilot when he flew the plane with his family, right? So that helped during this horrific occurrence that he's going through. He's self-determined because the way this man, I'm not going to give anything away, but what this man went through that was horrifying, and he still fought. He still kept pushing through.
You see, he's a character that has agency. And see, it's very important that a lot of characters, even when they are the lead and they are American black, they always have that savior.
Right.
That white savior.
Right.
There was no white savior in this, right? The only person that could save him was himself.
He did it.
Right?
Right.
And so this is what makes this film should go down in history and should go
Classic.
down into the canon as an American black classic that gives an American black man the same agency that if it was the converse and it was a Caucasian.
Omari's, his acting was great because you don't even
think of
see
him
ghosts.
as Ghost.
You don't even think of him
different.
as Ghost.
Totally different guy.
Yeah.
Even though he dressed nice, totally different guy.
Totally different guy.
So let's go through the breakdown. Cinematography is a 10. Storyline through line is a 10.
Right.
Character arc is a 10. Acting, emoting, the close-ups, where it's on his face, the horror, the shock, the figuring things out.
Loretta Devine.
Loretta Devine. Oh my God. This is not, if you want to see a master at work, you got to see Loretta Devine. That's a 10. Wardrobe and sets. That's a 10. Location. That's a 10. Story beats is a 10. Believability, the pacing on this, the story through line, the situations that happen, totally believable, right? Historical facts, the way that he walked when he walks into the gas station and what you see, what he sees on the farm. That's what I'm going to say. Gives a historical reference. It has been well researched and studied. In film, you have to research what you're talking about and then be able to put those nuances within the film in image form. Beautifully done. That's a 10. So what would you give Spell?
I mean, this is another film I would give it a 10 to because the acting is great. Between Omari Hardwick and Loretta Devine, like she played against type. I have never seen her
play this type of role.
This type of role. I mean, this woman, she brought it, right? And then it's just, and the location. They did a great job with the location. And I just think, I mean, it was believable. Like, this is a film. This is a horror film, right? And it's also a thriller, mystery.
Yes, I would say so.
But you know what? It's
it is
actually, this is a film that actually is believable. Because how many times do people travel across the United States, let alone the world, right? And it's plausible to be in an accident. And so what's so horrifying about this is not only the torture, right, that some of the characters went through, but the fact that this could actually happen. You know? So I would give it a 10. This was a great film.
LaKayla said, from what y'all just said, it's a 10 out of 10. It is a 10.
You have to see this, LaKayla. This is a great film.
Yeah. You're into horror.
Yeah, this is a horror film.
It is. You have to see.
It's chilling and scary.
Suspenseful. Yep. Every element that you want in a good horror film is in this piece, right? And adding in the hoodoo element. I mean, it is just chilling. So yes, it is a 10, right? Yeah, and she says she's interested in seeing Loretta Devine in this role. Yeah, you will. Yeah, definitely watch it. You will enjoy Loretta Devine in this film because that was Tanya M. Congress that said I'm interested in seeing Loretta Devine. Yeah,
Tanya.
you will enjoy this because she really brings this.
She does.
Right? So Spell is a 10. It's the 10. Type of horror film, American black horror film that we've been waiting for. Yeah. All right. So next up is one called The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yes.
The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Oh, you know what? We didn't say where they can find the Spell. So you can go and you can find it on Hulu.
Yeah, or kind of showed it at the end.
Yeah, on we saw it on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, The Haunting of Bly Manor, 2020.
Yeah.
Victoria Padretti. That's her name. Victoria Padretti. It's an Italian name. Danny Clayton is who she portrays, right? Carla Gugino is the storyteller, right?
Right.
Tania Miller. Tania Miller is Mrs. Gross.
Right.
Amelia Eve is Jamie. Tahara Sharif is Miss Giselle.
Right.
Amelia B. Smith is Flora, and Benjamin Evan Answorth is Miles, right? So it's more people in it, but these are the core actors within the piece, right? So this is what this film is about. This is the synopsis, the hashtag TFR Podcast Live synopsis. An American au pair finds herself in a world of the undead at an English manor with enough betrayal, drama, and flashback horror told to an eager bride and groom on a day before their wedding by a storyteller. Right. So all of this is told in story form within a flashback, right? Flashbacks within flashbacks, right?
Yep.
So the film opens up with a wedding party sitting down the day before the wedding,
right,
to enjoy a nice horror tale told by an established storyteller, right?
Yeah.
She goes on to say before she begins that it's not one of hers, because I think she's published, right?
Yeah.
And she goes on to say that it's not one of her horror stories, but it is one that she's heard, right? So she goes on to retell this story, right? And let me just say that this is an episodic, a limited series, right? And it's episodes, right? We binge watch. We were at the edge of our seat on
Netflix.
On Netflix. On Halloween, we binge watched all 10 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yep.
It has a multicultural cast, which is good, right? The two children will creep you out, right?
They're good actors.
Because what's happening with the children, everything is revealed to you, right? This to me, because we've seen a couple of ones where there's an au pair or a nanny, and you know, of course, one of the ones, The Omen, where you know the au pair. But anyway, that's, you have to see that film, right? That's one level of it, because it's based on just the power of Damien you want to see The Omen, you should see that film, right? Great film. We left that out because there was no American blacks in there. But anyway, a good film to see, you know. But this is an ensemble cast, so it tells the story of all the people who are involved in Bly Manor, right? And so what's happening at Bly Manor will flip your head.
Yeah, it's a lot happening.
Because there's many demons all in one house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just this one demon is just a F up. I'm just gonna tell you, it just F's up everything, and you're like, what is going on? And then you don't know if you are, the way they tell the story, you don't know the way she's telling the story to them. Mm-hmm. She narrates, she comes in on certain scenes, and you hear her narration, right? Yeah. You hear her words over the scene as the scene plays out. Yeah. But the way it's being told, you don't know if the person is alive or dead. That's what we're gonna say.
Yeah.
You don't know if they are alive or dead, and it's a twist. It's twisting up. It's going in every single direction within organized disorganization, and you will be entertained by The Haunting of Bly Manor. This is another film where there is, like we said about the African lore, there's a lot of folklore in this, which means that what's happening in this picture makes sense.
Right.
Right? What do you guys say?
You know what? It was a really good film. I loved all of the different, everyone had their own storyline. And it was interesting how they were all seeing these different like ghosts and demons and stuff, but it took them a while to tell each other what they saw. Like, you know, one person would see something in this room, but then they would like shake it off, but then when they interact with somebody else, it's like they didn't even talk about it. So, you know, you would think that if you saw something, you would say, you know what I just saw in that room, but it was like none of that happening. So all of these weird and strange and scary things was all happening in this huge mansion. And during the day, you know, it looks like a nice, beautiful mansion with beautiful gardens, you know, and beautiful, right? With the little chapel on the property. But at night, it was a totally different thing. And then so it started to make sense why during the day all of like the employees would be there sitting around talking, having breakfast or whatever, spending time with the children. But I did notice at night, like when it started getting dark, everybody was rushing, you know, people would be rushing to go home, and it made sense. So as the story unwind, you know, and you learned about the different ghosts and demons, and you would see the interactions with each of the characters, I said, oh, no wonder Mrs. Such and Such said she didn't have time for dinner. It was getting dark.
Yeah,
and
she had to go.
She had to go.
Yeah, so you said you can't find Spell on Hulu, try Amazon Prime, right? If you can't find it on Hulu, it's Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So look.
Go to the search engine and type it in.
The Haunting of Bly Manor. Yeah. It's unique because it's told from a storyteller's point of view,
right?
And it goes into as if you were sitting around a campfire, telling ghost stories, right? And so that's what makes it so interesting, because she is an omniscient narrator, meaning that she's reliable and she knows exactly what she's saying as she's spinning this tale, as she's pulling back the layers of the onion. So
you know what I liked about it also is all of the characters, including like the black characters, right? We learned about their background and their story. They weren't just friends.
They weren't the help.
They weren't just the help, right? So everyone had a storyline. You learned everyone's connection to this manor, right? And what I loved, like the children, like the writing for the children, you're like, wait a minute, what they said was quite interesting. It was funny, but sound like that would have came out of the mouth of an adult, you know.
You're gonna be stunned in episode 8.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get context in episode 9.
Right.
And then there's the conclusion, the ultimate conclusion in episode 10. Now, let's break this down. Cinematography on there. Cinematography on this. There are no pedestrian angles done in this film. It's 10. Story through line. All the various stories of all the people who are there, who are employed at Bly Manor. The flashback, the story of the manor in the Victorian period. That's a 10.
Right.
Sound and editing. The sound and editing. You can hear the music. You can hear the shocking sound effects. That's a 10. Wardrobe, costuming, the MUA. That's a 10. That's a makeup artist, right? So you know MUA.
Yeah.
Character arc. The character arc in this is very important because all of the various characters arc in their own way. That's a 10.
Yeah.
Acting skill and the emoting is a 10. This is not only a horror ghost story, but it is a love story.
It is.
Right?
It is.
And so you're going to be interested. You know, they throw certain elements in. We're not going to give it away to you, give it away for you, but there's certain elements they throw in, they have to throw in these days. That's what we'll say. Location is a 10. Story beats. I mean, the way that they connect the dots in this,
they did a great job.
Is a 10, right? Believability. This limited series is believable. It is a 10. Now there are some things where you say, "Why are you doing that? You are just stupid."
Right.
It's points where you're yelling at the screen, like, "What are you doing? Are you stupid?" But it's believable. Historical facts about the manor itself all leads into the believability. That's a 10.
Yeah.
What would you rate? Haunted.
This is another one I would also rate a 10 because of the storyline, right? The acting. The acting is good, but like for me, I would say like the breakout stars are the 2 children because, like I said, they are. It reminded. Okay, so if you are familiar with like South Park or what's that other show? Shows like South Park where the kids' mouths are a little spicy and you're like, I can't believe that kid said that. That's how these 2 children are, right? So the writing for them is pretty good. It's really good. It's interesting. So they're like the breakout stars for me.
Well, it's like Little Rascals. Little Rascals meets Haunted House on the Hill or something.
Yeah,
right?
So like these
Haunted House on the Hill not as good as this, but
but you know what's so interesting is this one scene we talked about. We're not going to give away. You have to see it. And it's this one scene, and you're looking at this demon, and this kid is like, no big thing. It's just like, kid, didn't you just see? It's well done. We talked about the lighting, right? So the lighting was well done as well.
Yeah. Wait. We really didn't touch on the lighting. When you watch this, they lit this in a new way.
Yeah.
Like the night scenes were so well lit that you knew they were lit, but your eyes fall in line of what the story is telling, because you wouldn't appear night to be that bright, but it is, and it works. It works. The lighting, I guess because it's digital now. And it just works, man. Everything about this film, everything about this series, right?
It's
limited
good.
Series works.
You have a lot in there. Where you have horror. You have, like you said, a love story, suspense. You have people cheating. So it's
extramural
right.
affairs, yeah, all that.
So it's a combination of everything. So it's well done.
Well done. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. So for me, it is a 10. The Haunting of Bly Manor, right? So look at this. Look at the time. We are all completed today. So people, soon we will be moving to a new, not a new time,
right?
Not a new day, but we will be moving our home from FB over to, well, we already stream simulcast live on 4 platforms already. Periscope. If you don't have a Periscope, make sure you get a Periscope. Right? And go to @TFR Podcast Live and follow us there because we're simulcasting right now. Vimeo, go to the Film Review Lordlandfilms. You got to do just searching in Vimeo after you get your Vimeo account to be able to, or just go watch. But you should get a Vimeo account so that you can start to build your library of interesting videos, right, on Vimeo. And then, of course, the Film Review live channel on YouTube. Go there, subscribe. We are simulcasting right now. Subscribe. Press the like button. Press the share button and put it out there. And of course, we are on Twitter. So you have to go there and look up, just go #TFR Podcast Live, and then you can just follow both of our accounts, Follow both of our accounts, right? What else do we want to say here before we wrap up for the night? Let me see, let me make sure I got all of the things. Oh, do you have a SoundCloud? Go there, get a SoundCloud account so that you can start to add on to your favorite list of programming, and that's the Film Review Podcast, right? You just put that in the search, and we come right up, right? Look. And of course, you can hear us on replay on iHeartRadio. You just go to iHeartRadio, type in #TFR Podcast Live when we come up, and make sure that you get a membership on Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio. That way you'll be able to call in at 213-943-3358. You can call in at that number anyway, with an account or without. But at least you know that we're on. You'll be notified when we're on. And you can start to build your favorite episodes of #TFR Podcast Live on Blog Talk Radio. You see, we are moving in many different platforms, and platforms that don't appreciate what is being put down. Because remember, we are people who are on FB. We are the entertainment that helps them sell ads. If we are not there, then they will not sell ads, and there will be a demise. The DJs are leaving.
A lot of people are leaving. I'm telling you, they did a report on the news, and they were saying that they're losing a lot of subscribers.
So they're losing a lot of subscribers.
Really, I mean, because they're trying to take people's freedom of speech away, and they are seriously censoring.
They're seriously censoring, and we, people, don't have to stand for it, because we are already simulcasting on all those other events. And to have a group of people who don't understand freedom of speech,
do not let your rights be taken away.
But what I'm saying is to have a group of people who are programming the bots and who are IT-ing on your platform, and you're getting them from a place that we've already talked about.
Who know nothing about freedom of speech because they're not American.
Because those places don't practice freedom of speech. So their freedom of speech is being imposed upon a group of people who should not, if they're not aware of it, but once they become aware of it, should not be appreciative of a certain group of people being immigrants coming here and imposing a certain freedom of speech that they have interpreted it to be on a group of people who built this boy. Go back and watch episodes of #Observations TFR. 1 through 20. 21 through 40. We talk about, in 2 episodes, we talk about the Nigerian situation that's happening over there. And then we have 2 episodes where we break down Biden and Trump in 2 various episodes. That's why we finished everything. We don't have to talk about the election anymore. Right? So we're giving out our opinions, our observations.
But do go out and vote, and make sure you vote so your freedom of speech will not be taken away.
That's right. So go vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, for us, it was none of those jokers. They had a section. They showed you, because it was like 4 different people running for president. We didn't even know that.
Wasn't it more? It seemed like it was more.
You know, it seemed like 4 to me.
I was looking like for Kanye. I was like, where's
because
the
Kanye
party?
wasn't there. But I skipped all that and got to the bottom where it had the 5th or 6th entry that said, vote for none of them jokers. And it didn't say it like that. None of these candidates. And I'm like, none of these candidates. So I did vote for president, but I abstained.
Okay.
You see, because neither one of those dudes are good for American blacks, because there's no reparations.
And then they had other bills on there. Bills for, well, here where we are locally, they talked about electricity, right? Like where you want to.
Talking about alternative electricity, like the wind power stuff. I said no to all that. Let's open up the door, because I really want to ride my car until the wheels fall off. Really, that's what my CPA told me, and I wanted to really experience that. But when you put people in there talking about electric cars.
Luckily, that other bill didn't go through, because they were trying to. Well, this was during with Obama administration, right?
They tried.
They tried to pass this bill where we all would have to
have driven
hybrid cars.
Right.
So I'm like, well, what about all of the cars that we have that are not hybrid? So then that means we would have to all purchase new cars again. I mean, just like crazy. So I was happy when that bill didn't pass.
That keeps you in debt. If you're 50 years old,
your car is paid off,
and your car is paid off, you're 50 years old, right? And you're going into debt, and so you'll be in debt for 10, 15 years on a car note.
It's crazy.
But anyway,
right.
And they had another thing out here talking about when voters are eligible to vote, they recognize when they passed all things. I said, that's something about the immigrants. I said no. I voted no on all that. I did vote yes on a Democrat. Her name is Brittany Miller. She's 5th District Assembly person. Right, for the state assembly. And so I voted because she's constantly putting things out, talking about what she's doing. So I voted for her.
She puts in the work.
But then I watched her video, and I said, oh man. But anyway, so make sure you get out and vote. We didn't say don't vote. We said
get out and
that
vote.
We're not voting for president. And luckily out here
make the decision that's best for you.
Make the decision that's best for you. You know, when you look at the situations, and we shall see, right? But we're bouncing this place because it's too much censorship, it's too much totalitarian and authoritarian action happening on FB. And if all the black people in one fell swoop just cut off their accounts.
Well, I have that story posted on my Facebook page.
Right. Yeah. If everyone just cut off their accounts for a week, just cut them off for 2 weeks. Everybody just mass cut them off for 2 weeks. They would be scrambling, and they would say, what would you like? Well, first of all, we would like for you to get a blanket copyright so that you can start bringing in millions for us being the entertainment. You could, maybe billions, and you could pay for that blanket copyright so DJs could entertain us during this COVID-19.
Right.
And stop, if you don't understand freedom of speech and you don't understand the nuance in words that the person is saying, like these people will say, he is attacking me, he is attacking me. No, you need to know nuance in words and what people are saying.
Right.
Before you start going back and flagging people for stuff that they said 3 years ago.
Right.
Is this supposed to be a platform for freedom of speech, or isn't it? Is it supposed to be a platform that the people can enjoy, or is it something that you just want to just get the entertainment dollar, but people are supposed to be lily white?
Right.
Let's see, what did Tanya say? And it's how FB does it. Rude and disrespectful. That's right. Because when they cut off the film review, movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast page, I had built that for 3 years. Right? We're getting ready to come into our 4th year come July. And we built that, working it, learning. Let me tell you a little secret for people so y'all know. We always give information on these shows. When you figure out the algorithm is when they block you.
Right.
I had the page that was connected to my Instagram. Why he strong-armed and bought Instagram? Instagram was open and letting people have freedom of speech. Right? You have to go and find out what religious belief people have.
Yeah.
Because it all breaks down to
Many
everything,
don't have,
right?
Yeah.
And so they went in and they blocked that page talking about spam. Now, 400 and some people had come and joined that page because I had figured out the algorithm.
Right.
And then they come up and say spamming because I had people, and when we did these shows, they would be at 400 and 500 hits because I had figured out the algorithm, and by another week it would be at 1,000 views. I had figured out the algorithm, and then they blocked me. Right? So they can have FB and they can have Instagram. They can be another platform that comes up. And remember, we're always ahead of the curve. And then people catch on once. People don't work in solidarity or work together because they don't see it until it happens to them. Then when it happens to them, when something you wrote 3 years ago, they ding you and lock your account for it and say whatever. And then you say, oh man, all of a sudden it's wrong. People can't see sometimes past their nose. And we talk about that, right? So listen, we're moving. We're not moving time. We're not moving day. We're moving out of low rent social media platform. We're moving out of a low rent run by, it appears to be, slumdogs. And so we're moving out of a low rent social media and we're moving into high rent district. And hopefully other American blacks will come with their platform, because no need to reinvent the wheel. Come with your platform and we're able to jump there and leave this platform sunk. Remember, it was Black Planet. Everybody jumped from Black Planet and MySpace at the time, but it was Black Planet. Black Planet had it. Now Black Planet is a dating site. He should go back and get all those bells and whistles that he had before, and people can jump back to that, because what Facebook is doing now, grabbing everything, they need to be broke up. They need to break all that up. Skype, Messenger, they need to break all that apart. I'm calling for it. They need to break that up. They need to break them having Instagram apart. They need to break that apart and make them autonomous organizations and shrink the power of Facebook. We're saying it right here on the platform. Because enough is enough. And when you finally see it, hopefully it won't be too late for you, because you will come to a crescendo when you're building something, and they will lock your account and say that you've done spam, but no one's ever complained, but they're complaining because you figured out the algorithm. And that's what it's about, right? So look, Monday through Friday on other platforms, we're going to be exiting. We'll probably exit at the end of the month, right? Because we're going to let you know that we're exiting, right? But we're exiting at the end of the month, right? So into this month, November, going into December, we're exiting by December 1st, right? We're going to let you know where we are, and we're going to push that hard. Right. But to all the people, Periscope, Vimeo, right, the Film Review Live channel on YouTube, subscribe. We need 10 more subscribers before we're off tonight. Right. Subscribe, like, share this episode. We need to be free.
You know, I have a question, right? And then I'm going to use the term wicked, because it is wicked, right? Mm-hmm. And the years, it's been years of bullying, right? And they talk about the bullying on FB and how many children have committed suicide, right? Mm-hmm. And so we've seen many stories like that for like years. So my question is, as well as like kidnappings, and just my question is, they're taking the time to censor different podcasters, right? Or just different people who have accounts who are disseminating information, right? So they're busy picking at those people, but for some reason they're allowing the bullying and the harassing of children, and no one's stopping the accounts.
Or they allow the fighting.
They allow the fighting. People are online committing suicide. People are being kidnapped. Like all of the wicked is being allowed on this platform, right? But with people disseminating information with facts, they're being stopped. So to me, it's nothing other than just wicked.
What demons? Observations, right? You gotta go there and watch possibilities and probabilities, the 5 episodes where we talk about the different type of demons. What type of demons are doing this, right? So we need to, we're gonna check out by the end of the month. We'll make our move, right? And then we'll be simulcasting on a new 4th outlet, building that outlet out, right? Because this social media platform is low rent, and I'll say it again, low rent by who they allow to IT on it, because they have no sense of English nuance, and that's the problem. They don't even understand the music, so they don't understand it. So we're checking out of it. We're moving out of here. This is low rent. So this was fun.
They're losing a lot of subscribers, so clearly people are catching on.
It's catching on, so we need those platforms. So people, this has been another great episode of #TFR Podcast Live. Remember, we come on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, on Periscope, on Vimeo, and on YouTube, the Film Review Live channel. Make sure you go over to Twitter, type in #TFR Podcast Live, friend both pages, follow both pages, right? And don't forget, Monday through Friday is #Observations TFR, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. That's myself and my sister Tanya M. Congress, Monday through Friday.
Yes.
You can see us on and hear us on all those platforms. And of course, you can hear us on Apple Podcasts. You can hear us on iHeartRadio. You can hear us on Google Play. You can hear us on, did I say iHeartRadio? Spotify.
Right.
That's right. And so, people, this has been another great episode of TFR, hashtag TFR Podcast Live. We are the husband and wife team.
Yep.
I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, society. And we will see you next week on another great episode of hashtag TFR Podcast Live. I love this show.
Me too.
The Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, society podcast. Interviews, movie reviews, and more. Live Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on the Film Review Live channel. Subscribe.
Hi, this is Bernadette Stannis, Thelma from Good Times, and you're watching The Film Review.